That's right, Randall, and if you didn't feel it this weekend, summer is definitely upon us, and that brings all sorts of, well, good times for you and your pets, but it also can be dangerous at times as well.
That's right. There's a few things that we always talk about come summertime that you want to be careful with your pets. One of the big ones is heat.
We felt it this weekend.
Absolutely.
It was definitely hot on the Central Coast. And you have a little bunny here in your lap. They're very sensitive to the heat.
They are. You know, it's important with rabbits in particular that you want to bring them inside during those hot days. They can be very, very sensitive to the heat. Everyone knows, of course, you don't want to travel on a hot day with your dog in the car.
Right.
It can be 70 degrees outside, but if it's sunny and in the right conditions, they can overheat very quickly.
Right, and that's so true. It may feel like, 70 outside, but inside your car, especially with the windows up or even partially, even when you have them cracked a little bit, it gets really hot. It can be like 120 inside your car.
It can, and dogs have a different mechanism for cooling than we have, and just depending on the type of breed, their weight, that kind of thing, they can overheat very quickly.
Right, and not many people travel with cats, but I assume it's the same thing for leaving really any pets in your car, even in warm, even 70 degrees or more. It's just so dangerous.
The other thing that people don't think about too is on hikes, even going to the beach, you have to be a little careful of the heat. These guys can get burns on their paws.
Their feet, right, are very sensitive, and so you may not be feeling it because you have shoes on, but your dog, and they can't really let you know. My paw hurts. And there are things you can do in really hot climates. In Arizona, there are some products where you can actually put booties on them.
There are.
We probably don't need to go that extreme here, right?
Just avoid those areas probably when it's really hot.
Right.
Yeah.
So the heat is obviously one, but one that I deal with every year, the foxtails. They are really bad.
Foxtails are one of the tough things about living in California. We're the only state that have them, and what they are these very pointy, arrowhead-shaped grass awns that once attached to an animal will migrate, and they basically only go forward, they can't move backwards.
Right.
So we see foxtails go in toes and come out the shoulders, they can get into noses, ears, eyes.
Imagine for your dog how painful that is. Again, not something they can tell you about, but as that's working its way into a foot, and we've had to deal with several of those, really painful.
Not just painful, but the problem is if they get in there, they can be very, very difficult, if not sometimes impossible,
and require
to get
surgery.
Out. Exactly.
And I've heard, because we've dealt with them and we've had our long-haired dachshund in the vets, I can't even tell you how many times to get them out of the ear, the nose, the foot. They can be fatal. They
can be. So one of the things you want to do is avoid those high grassy areas, meadows, things like that. The other thing that you can do is have your groomer do what's called a foxtail clip, where they cut short the hairs on the paws.
Because the longer the hair, the more likely it is your dog's going to get them.
That's right.
And we had so much rain that we really have a lot of this right now, so a lot of areas for dogs to get into that. And we're out picnicking and we want to share. The dogs are under the table begging, but you don't want us to do that.
You don't, especially as we get closer to 4th of July. That's a big time that we see a lot of animals come in with food poisoning, pancreatitis, fatty foods, things that you would eat yourself. Dogs and cats really can't handle.
Not good.
And you got to imagine, they're 10 times or 20 times or 30 times smaller than us. So even a single potato chip is like them eating a whole bag.
Right. So, and I have had this problem. Something hot falls off the grill. You have to be fast to keep the dogs go after it, and that can really be painful as well for them. So
it can be. Yeah.
You have to watch that because they'll take whatever they can get. Okay, we've got the usual. It gets hot. We get all the fleas and whatnot, and you really have to watch that for the health of your own family if you're not even concerned about your pet.
Yeah, I think the bottom line is keep them on good flea and tick control year-round. So that can't be overestimated. Now, one of the things we see a lot this time of year is pets riding the backs of trucks. And even if they're tied up, even if they're on a leash, we see fatal injuries, horrendous injuries with these guys. So if you have to keep them in the back of the truck, keep them in a kennel. If you can, keep them inside the vehicle.
Right. And I've heard, we have a friend who said, well, I'm really a good driver. My dog is safe in the back of my truck. But you can look at it from the perspective, not everyone else out there is a good driver. So
and not the dog doesn't necessarily know the best traffic safety either.
Right.
So chances are you're better just keeping them contained.
There's just so many factors there where that can go wrong. And also on our list of hazards, along with truck rides and the fleas and all the rest of the stuff that goes with summertime, is we get bugs and then we get rodents. So we want to put something out to protect the house from that. But typically, if it's bad for a rodent, it's not going to be good for your dog or cat.
These things can pass unchanged in a rat. So if a rat can get to it and the dog can get to the rat, it's the same deal. So in general, we recommend
gophers too, right?
Gopher bait, snail bait, slug bait, all these kinds of things. We recommend in general using traps, using other means to control the populations.
All right, and then when we're talking about our dogs and cats catching something, what about something catching our pets?
Keep your cats indoors at night. That's one of the big things we see. You know, with the coyote and other predators out there.
They tend to come out more at this time of year?
They're going to tend to come out more this time of year and more towards dusk and at nighttime, so keep them inside if you can.
All right, and we definitely can't ignore the cute bunny. Let's see if we can get a closer shot. Is it girl or boy?
This is a boy. This is Alexi. He's a lion head.
He's got a mane. He's so pretty.
He came from Slow Buns, which is a rescue organization in San Luis Obispo. They rescued over 30 rabbits recently that are kept at animal rescue in San Luis Obispo that need great homes. Slow Buns spays and neuters all their pets. They're litter box trained and they're socialized. And this guy here was abandoned with his brother and his mother behind a grocery store.
Okay.
He would make a wonderful home for somebody. So slowbuns.org.
Slowbuns.org. We'll link that on our website as well. Very sweet. And bunnies are very special. They need nice homes and people who really want to take care of them. And hopefully we get some families for those. Dozens of bunnies now at the shelter and at Slow Buns.
It's the biggest rescue operation they've had, I think, since the history of the organization.
All right. Well, we sure hope that someone takes some of those bunnies home. And you can send your question and comment in. Ask the vet at KCOY.com, and then Dr. Joel Conn will get to you through email or address those questions right here on his next visit. So go ahead and send those in, and we are right back in just a moment.